Hi guys, welcome back to The In Between. My name is Mari, and do I have a story for you today? So, buckle up your seatbelts and let's get into the video. So today we are going to be talking about addiction. Honestly, getting into like a little bit of history, I started using when I was 14. It started recreationally, and then slowly as I got older, it just kind of turned into like more of a routine thing for me. I think I honestly cannot remember a day from the time that I was like 16 up until I was maybe like 19 that I wasn't high like all the time. Pretty much I was high all day long until I was 21, and then I went through a period where I didn't smoke for like half a year, and then I started smoking again. I started drinking pretty heavy when I was in high school. When I was going to like parties and stuff like everyone usually does. I wouldn't say I was ever really an alcoholic. I usually only did it at parties or like when other people were doing it. No one just really does drugs to like just have a good time. Maybe there's those few and far in between people who do. Yeah, I just want to get like effed with my buddies. A majority of us use because we're wanting to forget something. The best times that I had was when I was like on my high. One of the reasons I preferred to abuse pills is because I always knew when I was on the come down because I'd get tired. The minute that I popped a pill, I'd have like energy and I'd feel like really euphoric, and then I'd feel like super tired, like I was gonna pass out. Always on the come down. I could control it, and it felt really good knowing that I had the ability to control when I was on the up and when I was on the down. I was able to like fit it into my daily routine. I would say the hardest thing about being an addict is that I manipulated and used a lot of people. It ruined relationships with people. It damaged bridges. I was not the same person. Like, I can confidently say as someone who's been sober and as someone who's trying to maintain my sobriety, the difference in my character between when I'm not using and when I am using is like night and day. It's two completely different people. When you're on drugs or when you're abusing substances, it's like two completely different personas. On one hand, you have like the sober you, and then you have intoxicated you, and it's like those two people like do not mesh well at all. For a long time, I convinced myself that I used to have a good time. I started realizing that every time I was emotionally overwhelmed, I'd light up. Kind of started recognizing like that pattern, and I'm like, okay, I'm starting to use this more as like a coping mechanism than I am just using it for fun to have a good time with my friends. And that was when I really decided that I kind of needed to make a change. Using substances or like using alcohol to like cope and numb your pain is not worth the damage that it causes to your life and the people around you. When you're on substances, you make so many poor, dysregulated, unfunctional decisions. It completely F's up your life. And the worst part is sometimes you don't even remember. It's just embarrassing, like damages your reputation, and it makes a faulty view of your character towards the people that are around you. It honestly makes you look like a fool because you are. Like, when you're abusing substances, you're not making decisions thinking about your future. You're making decisions based on how you're feeling in the moment, which is never going to result in anything good down the line. Also, it just damages your progress. Imagine if you're doing really, really good, like not going back to addictions, not doing anything that you're doing, and then all of a sudden, like, bam, you just fall one day. Like, there's a difference between relapse and reestablishing that into your life. You just have to eliminate it. Like, I know that's not what you want to hear. You can't even stay in proximity to those things. Like, it's like saying that you don't want to drink and then going to a bar and then expecting yourself not to get a drink. Or like saying you don't want to smoke and then passing a dispensary and then going inside, just saying you're going to take a look around. Like, when you're actively putting yourself in a situation where you're being tempted by the source of your comfort, or like you're tempted to go back to your maladaptive coping mechanisms, it's not going to make realistic sense to put yourself in a scenario where you're being tempted beyond what you can handle. Unless you have control in that area, like you can go to a social gathering and maybe have a glass of champagne, but nothing more than that. If you haven't trained your mind and if you haven't trained your temptations and your discipline far enough to not have to go back to that as a dependent, you're gonna screw your whole life up. Like, it's kind of like a hamster wheel, right? Like, most bad decisions are chronic cycles that we find ourselves in, right? Only way to break a cycle is to just stop and get off. If you're a hamster, right, and you're running in this wheel like over and over and over again, and you're running in the same place, you're going the same direction, there's no cycle outside of that. The only way you're gonna get that wheel to stop is if you stop running in it, literally step outside of the wheel, and you go and do something else. Like, that cycle is just gonna continue to spin and repeat itself until you entertain something else, or until you enter something else into the equation. Cycles and patterns don't just stop without having to be replaced with something else. Ultimately, we are a slave to something. So if we're not a slave to something good, we're gonna be a slave to something bad. We actually get to choose what we're a slave to and what we're not. Real life example for you guys. If this cup is a habit, right? Drinking, smoking, I'm a sex addict, whatever unhealthy coping mechanism that I'm running to like pacify myself, this is that. So if this is the bad habit, right? And every time I want to do something unhealthy or bad for me, I fill it up a little bit. Maybe I decided to go smoke after not smoking for a long time. I popped pills. All of these in this cup, these are the decisions that I'm choosing to make to fill and continue to repeat these bad habits. That looks pretty full to me. The only way that this cup is gonna not get full and it's gonna be empty is if I stop repeating the habit and I stop filling it up. The same thing can be said about something good. I have this empty cup that I've now unfilled because I stopped filling it with the bad. All we are left with is an empty cup, which means I'm still gonna need to have this cup filled. What am I gonna put in it? Now that I have stopped going to what I know and what's familiar, now what? What am I gonna use to fill the hole that I've been filling with all these other things? Something else has to replace it. Insert healthy coping mechanism. Going on runs, having lunch with your friends once a week, going to church, going to therapy. All of those things that are good filled up the cup exactly the same in exactly the same measurable way as all the unhealthy things. By that logic, if this cup is you, and if this cup is what you're choosing to fill it with, this is you, and you get to be responsible for what you choose to fill that cup with. And it's on you. What you want your life to look like depends on what you fill in that cup. What am I filling my life with? What hobbies, places, people, things am I integrating into my mind? Is that giving me a positive outcome or a negative outcome in my life? Do I like the results that I'm getting from the decisions that I'm making? And these are the things that you kind of start to think about once your brain gets out of like the drug addict mentality, you know? When I'm using and when I was on drugs, I wasn't really thinking about the people around me. I was thinking about how I felt and not wanting to feel that way anymore. And honestly, I've realized that whether I was sober or whether I wasn't, the things that I was running from continued to catch up to me because it wasn't something that I could just leave. The things and the feelings that I was running from that made me choose to use substances in the first place was not actually going away just because I was getting high or just because I was getting drunk or just because I was doing whatever I was doing, right? It's just a pacifier. It's just like a medication. It's a band-aid. If you don't actually fix that root problem and psychoanalyze and understand like, okay, why am I actually going to this thing? What is actually making me turn to this substance? Why am I doing this? What is the root cause making me want to do these things in the first place? And you uproot that, you're just going to keep going to the same thing over and over and over and over. You're going to keep smacking your head on that wall. You have to uproot whatever it is that's causing you to go into addiction, that's causing you to have all these unhealthy habits, right? Additionally, the temporary pleasure and feelings of the high that the drugs or like the alcohol gives you in comparison to the relationships around you is not worth damaging that. If you have a support system that's there for you, do not take advantage of that. Don't lose it. Also, the damage that using has done to my body, it's evident, you know? I mean, like cigarettes, vapes, like smoked weed, took pills, like all that stuff. Like, you're not invincible just because you're a drug addict. Like, that stuff is gonna catch up to you eventually. There's no lifestyle in which using and abusing substances in any capacity is gonna be healthy for you, like in any way at all. And it's just crazy, like the addict mind compared to like the sober mind is so different. When I was like on drugs, bro, I'd be given no F's. So like anything that I was doing to sabotage my life, I just wanna get high so bad. Like, literally all I was thinking is like, oh my God, I just wanna smoke a blunt. Like, you know, it's bad. Like, that's not good. Like, you have to do so much work on changing the way you think about things. All of your problems start in your head. If you can't control your mind, your life is going to be so chaotic. I'm really working hard to make my mind a place where I feel safe and comfortable because that's where I spend most of my time. If I'm not comfortable and if I don't feel safe in my own head and my own body, of course I'm going to look for other ways to externalize that and get out of it, you know? Like, but I just really wanted to take a second to talk about it and the negative effects that addiction has, not only on you but on the people around you. And I think a lot of the times you don't think it's going to have any repercussions, but you don't really realize all the damage that you've done and the bridges that you've burned until years or months or weeks later when you actually are clean and you actually are sober and you can look back and see like, wow, like all these people were trying to help me. I had all these opportunities, like all these things that I missed or that I procrastinated on because I wasn't in the right state of mind. You just don't realize the damage that you've done until it's over. And once you've burned those bridges, you can't build it back. It's better to do the hard thing and have there be good repercussions in your life and not lose the people around you and not skip out on opportunities than it is to go back and see all the damage that you've done and not be able to repair that. Like, it's not going to make you feel good about yourself, and honestly it might even repel you back into addiction. So take ownership of that and make sure you make a fix before it's too late, because at the end of the day, whether you choose to continue using or whether you choose to be out of addiction, you're still going to have to make sacrifices. Every decision that you make in life is going to be hard, and you get to choose which hard you want to make and what direction you want to go with that. The outcome of that is completely in your hands, 100%. The only last thing I'm going to say about this, you have to take ownership over your life. If you do not like the place that you're in, it's your fault. The reason that your life looks the way it does is because of the choices that you've made. If you don't like the way your life looks, make different choices. It's simple as that. That being said, also struggling with addiction has shown me how valuable life is. And it's not worth costing years to your body and to your life and to your mind to just numb your emotions. I mean, obviously it's going to be painful to deal with that stuff regardless. It's really opened up my eyes and showed me like, wow, like I'm so young, I have my whole life ahead of me. Is this the way that I want to continue to live my life forever? Would I be happy with the result of my life 10 years from now if I'm still making the current decisions that I am now? And these are just the questions that you have to ask. Like, being so real, you really have to get down and dirty with yourself and be like, okay, is this the way I want to continue to live my life forever? Like, is it or is it not? And if it's not, what are you gonna do to change that? If nothing changes, then nothing changes. It's so much more simple. We make it so complicated. It's so simple. Like, all you do is make excuses, you know? Like, you'll really be gaslighting yourself and then attempt to gaslight everybody around you into thinking that like what you're saying is actually true. You'll make up justifications in your mind for like what you're using and why you're using it. You'll find those excuses and then like also project those on other people so that they excuse your bad behavior too. You have to cut those people out of your life. Like, if you have friends around you or family that's enabling you to make those poor decisions and is not calling you out, is not being like, hey, actually, friend, you're gonna ruin your life. If you don't have those people in your life to hold you accountable and to be honest with you like that, you're screwed. Like, for real. I'm just gonna be 100% honest. Like, you have to get rid of those friends and those people in your life that are enabling your bad habits and pushing you further into your addiction and your bad behaviors. Like, I just want to close out this video by saying it's so important, the decisions that you make from here, actual steps that you're taking every day to maintain your lifestyle sobriety and making sure that you're not staying stuck in that cycle. What you read, who you're hanging out with, what you watch, like, all of these things are big factors, even if you don't think that they are, because everything else that's being outputted into your life is going to have a direct result into what your life looks like externally. You have to come to a point, especially if you're an addict and you're watching this, where enough is enough. Someone cannot love you into changing. You have to want to change yourself. Nothing is going to work until you make the decision. And like they have that saying in NA, right? It works if you work it. It works if you work it. You have to be willing to do the work that it takes to get out of it. Like, so there is help available. There is another side, and at the end of the day, like, you just have to be strong enough to make that choice. My hope with making these videos is that maybe any young people watching this, or maybe people who are struggling, will not have to go through the same struggles that I have, or can at least learn from my experiences, or feel like they're seen and understood by what I've been through. I know what it's like to not have people there for you. I know what it's like to have to deal with this stuff alone. And I'd rather be able to sit here and talk to you guys as if I was an older sibling or something than know that there's other people out there who feel like no one sees them. I just want to be real with you guys. I want to be honest and just use this channel as a way to kind of like take out what I'm going through and also help other people in the process, right? Because we need community, we need each other, and we need to know as individuals that we're not alone and that there are people out there that are struggling and that see us and are going through the same things that we are. That's really all I want to say. So peace out, God bless you guys, and I'll see you in the next one.